So we're doing something a little different this morning. After I gave the talk on the hindrance of desire at Thursday's daily online, I started to think, well, what about my desires about meditation? And so we decided to play around and do a free form writing. Actually, we commonly do that, but we decided to just leave it at that and read from you read from our free form writings. Want to take it from there, Linda?
Sure. It seems like another little break in the kind of stream of the way we've been doing Dharma talks and preparing in the mornings. And this is a little bit more free form, free form writing. Um, and it is a way that we have that's concentration in this practice. And it really just helps you focus on a topic. So um, the way I framed the topic to myself, and this is just by the way, free form writing is just something that comes up today with these conditions. So I looked at it as the hierarchy of my desires in meditation. I'm going to sort of read, maybe make a few comments. These are things that I don't feel like I'm doing them, but they're part of a receptive training process that I receive from reflective meditation. Space opens between my thoughts, my feelings, and my body. I feel like some kind of sorting process is happening where I can see things differently. And sometimes that's enough. This dropping of contraction, ease of intensity, something shifting, and often like my body disappearing, not being so predominant. From there, what often happens is what I would call a reframe. And I like reframes. They don't always feel like completely new perspectives, something I hadn't thought of before. They come with a kind of surprise, like another condition that I hadn't considered, or something that comes to the foreground that I can put some value on. And a new perspective changes. Really, what happens is I start to be more engaged with my life, with what's going on in my meditation. So when I have a meditation that's uncomfortable or thought nothing happened or mattered, then I reflect on it and write about it, and so much more emerges. Now, I don't do this all the time, but especially when I feel like there's nothing there, and then I write about it, it's like I can't believe there was so much there. And that's led me to see that no meditation is a throwaway, and I don't have to make something out of every meditation. Oh, that's the caveat. I don't have to make something out of every meditation. But I'm really more trusting an unfolding nature of my practice and these deeper dives where, as I put it, I have my scuba gear on. So that comes in free form writing, these twists of language. But underneath this seems to be a view that I don't have to make my meditation practice like anyone else's. I want it to be more about what my practice is. I do make adjustments, pretty much within my reach. And it's interesting that I still have fleeting desires for higher goals, but not in my meditation practice. They're more in my life. I could still be seduced by a magic pill to take away my various dukkha, but I really don't expect it. So I really appreciate one of the things I appreciate the most is being surprised and when things take a turn. And this seems to me like a desire for the mystery of conditionality.
All right.
Over to you, Nelly.
Okay, I'll take it away, so to speak. Again, free-form writing. When I reread what I wrote the other day, it felt a little disjointed, but that's the nature of free-form writing. So, the first thing that I do when I'm writing is I discern that some of my desires are in the short term, that is, like during the meditation, but other things that happen in meditation that I desire are for the longer term, how they will impact my life, though I'm pretty sure these two are intertwined. So, in meditation, I put high value, maybe highest value, on newish kind of based on what Linda said, maybe not completely new, but newish or a little with a twist, insights or perspectives. Just a slight shift in understanding kind of gives me an uplift. And though what I'm talking about is not entirely or even mostly a cognitive shift, it's more a shift of how I know something. It's like sometimes these situations or knowledge that I already have becomes more integrated. And I realize that that's exactly what I value inside of meditation and outside of meditation as I move through my life. I really value that kind of clarity, especially regarding decisions that I have to make in my life. Then I go, what about those lovely refined states in meditation that are, that I experience sometimes? I value them, but somehow they still don't come first in my hierarchy. Um, Though lately, especially, I've been more intentionally leaning into them in meditation because I really believe and seem to experience that they will lead to more calm in my life. And lately, this calm matters a lot because I'm dealing with a bit of high blood pressure and I've been dealing with some anxiety my whole life. So I really want my meditation to help this way and research both what I've read about research as we usually think about it and my personal research that is from tracking my experience. I'm calling that research for the moment. It does seem to work. It does seem to help reduce anxiety and blood pressure is something I can actually take and see that it actually does reduce it. So then what else do I value? What might I be overlooking? And this is kind of a common thing that I will do in my freeform writing. Like I write what's on the surface and then I go, okay, what else? What else? And then, okay, I relate to people more skillfully. I go through interpersonal scenarios quite often in my meditation. And I sometimes I make decisions about what I'm going to say and what I'm going to not say and what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do through this kind of replaying process. And I think this is really useful in my life. Then I realized I just caught another wind, another kind of discernment, discerning what feels good and what I know has good benefits. Of course, it can be both. It's not that they're mutually exclusive, but sometimes it's not both. But in the case of these refined meditative states, it is both. It feels very good, and I think it has good benefit. Though curiously, it's still not at the top of my hierarchy. So I wondered about that. And then I had a memory that earlier when I was meditating, I was told that there were two kinds of meditators. Those who really went for insight and those who went for concentration and calm. And I'm trying to remember this in my writing. And I think that was the two categories. I wouldn't swear by it. But even then, I knew I was the insight type.
It's interesting, Nelly, how similar to in meditation, you ask yourself, and I find myself doing this too, another question. Like, and that we don't have to have people give us questions. We generate them very well on our own.
Right, right. And often what else is there is one of
Yeah.
the ways. Yeah. All right. So should we see? So in this period of 30 minutes, of course, it's 30 minutes of meditation. And of course, if you choose to do some free form writing, it's always could be a benefit as well.
Right. So you have 30 minutes to do a practice this morning with us together and separate. Nelly, are you having a